Hello and welcome back to Girls Duo Cup. I am Leaf and I'm joined here by the wonderful Peachy, and we are here back with another match to watch. We are watching Popguns and Roses, which is an excellent name, versus Pepsi Woman, which is also coincidentally an excellent name.
Yeah, both these names are amazing, so I'm expecting great things from both of these teams today.
Yeah, pickup names are the best part of any Splatoon tournaments, and to be honest, I've seen some really good ones out of today so far. Gotta love Girls Duo Cup. Anyway, we are starting out on Manta Maria Clams. Do you have any particular opinions on this map?
I despise it. I'm not good at Manta
Really?
personally, but I think that when you're like commentating it and watching it, there's some really interesting plays that the teams can make here. So I do like this stage and appreciate it, but playing on it, not so much. What about you?
One of my first ever experiences with Comp Splatoon was like just getting recommended the I think it was the World Championships of like 2019 or something in my YouTube recommendations. It was before I'd ever joined Comp, and one of the games on Manta Clams, and this was of course Splatoon 2, and just it was fascinating to seeing one of the teams got in like a big jump chain of power clams, and that was one of my like it just made me fall in love with this game and kind of spurred me into joining competitive a few years later, but it was still awesome and definitely a formative experience. And now I definitely enjoy playing it. It's got some interesting routes. It's got an interesting progression. It has a flank route. I believe Clams is the only one that still maintains that flank route on the left route. So that's always really interesting. It's definitely a welcome addition to the game, and I'm excited to see what these teams run on it. I see from the Pepsi Woman has some really notable names on it, and I'm excited to see how they do. You got Vic. You got and some members of Octopi running a Nautilus, running a Vanilla Blaster, really interesting, as well as Popguns and Roses though is going to be running that bow paired with a Wiper Deco and some shooters, which is really interesting comps from both teams.
I may be a little biased here towards Popgun and Roses. I have a pretty close relationship with Octopi as a whole, and Vic and Kurta, they're all great people, so I'm excited to see them playing here today.
Definitely. Already we see Pepsi Woman getting the missiles on the ready, getting plenty of clams. It looks like Popguns and Roses might be being pushed back just a little bit here by the ever-present threat of those missiles, and how we are going to be seeing some members of Popguns and Roses go down as with this first push. It looks explosive. Power clam already at the ready, already going, and we'll see if this is going to be one that's going to last, or if they are going to go down as it's only that bow left alive. Explosive but short was that first push, looks like.
Yeah, Pepsi Woman, pretty off the bat, had an explosive start, immediately pushing in, taking down about 3 members of Popgun and Roses, but they need to keep up this heat if they want to take back lead and try to win. Or hold the lead.
Yeah, and that short push isn't exactly what you want to see. Oh, it looks like we have a disconnect. I believe it is early enough in this match, if this is standard Dapple rules, for them to be stopping it. Yes, and we do see one of the members of Popguns and Roses stopping it. It looks like, fortunately for them, I mean, this is their one replay for the set, but it looks like, fortunately for them, that they have a chance to really respond. They, based on the most tournament rules, they are going to be having to play the exact same comp, so they know what they're going to get into. They know each other's game plan, and so we might see something a little bit different this time.
Yeah, they got to experience a little how Pepsi Women can push and kind of immediately start asserting dominance and taking control of the map. So I'm hoping to see Popgun and Roses kind of snap back and understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, while we were waiting for the disconnected player to get back in the room, what were you thinking about those comps? The Blaster, we saw the Nautilus, which are 2 strong picks, but not ones we see every day, versus that bow, which is a weapon that I personally love, but we rarely ever see.
I think seeing both a bow and a blaster in the same match is really interesting, just to see how they interact. But I think the Wiper Deco can give Popgun and Roses a little bit of a challenge just because of the beacons mixed with the missiles. Missiles on this map can be kind of hard to deal with, especially when they're kind of chilling on street, because it takes so much space and wipe a team if you're too close together. So it's really interesting. I do think Pepsi Woman has the edge in terms of sheer comp, at least.
Yeah. It's interesting. Most like you really don't ever see the blaster. Like you see it come out a lot in tower control because it's tower control. Blasters do well. Plus it has the bubble, but you don't ever see it come out in clam. So that's like I'm interested to see like what their thought process is and how they use those bubbles. We saw them using it to get in, I believe, in that short little game that we saw there. But I'm not sure, you know, how it's gonna look as we actually see a full game where there's a lot more interactions behind it.
I think the blaster can do really well here if they can keep pain up, but the moment they get pushed back in their base and they start losing that space, the blaster's going to start struggling. Just due to the nature of blasters as a whole.
Yeah.
But at least with like power control, it's moving. The objective actually moves across the map, so you have a little more leeway, but Clam Blitz is just positioned right at their base. So if you're walled out, you're kind of just walled out.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. Nautilus as well, it's a very, like, a weapon that just, once it takes space, it just does not let it go. It's, you know, insanely fast kill time, insanely fast shot velocity, like, all of the amazing things that makes it what it is just do so well. And looks like that, we just got word that, Popguns and Roses is going to be getting a sub, so that's going to be interesting to see who they get in, and I don't exactly remember who was the one that, was disconnected, but we'll see who they replace and how that affects the comps that they're running. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
But like, yeah, even though they're getting a sub, they're having a chance to try out a new weapon. I don't think the sub's been playing with them at all during this tournament. So you're adding a new person that could add a new bit of dynamic to the mix, you know.
Plus, is the sub warm? Is the sub ready? Were they surprised to be called upon? It makes us wait a little bit longer, makes them wait a little bit longer, gives Pepsi Woman a little bit more time to kind of recoup and all that. I just want to say though, I took a look while we were, you know, while we're waiting. I took a look at the other two maps that are going to be run later on in the set, and Sturgeon Zone's, you know, fairly standard, not the most common in the world, but I hardly ever see Flounder Tower in Annapolis nowadays.
Yeah, Sam. It's it is a map mode.
It looks like a member of Octopi was traded for another member of Octopi.
Yeah,
I think,
Soku
no, Roses were here.
Soku was on the spot.
Okay.
Bring in the Neo Splash.
Awesome. So, I believe that's what they were running before, so not too many changes there on the front of comp, but we'll see how this goes, and we'll see if Popguns and Roses has a better chance to stop that really early push that Pepsi Woman got for that first time. We'll see how that goes. Already the bow gets a beautiful pick, and already Popguns and Roses is going to be kind of on the back foot here. They've already built a power clan, they know what their game plan is, and they know that they can execute it. They've done it before already.
The bow, especially with that buff, is able to just kind of deny space from the enemy team, not only with its blast, but like its fearsome one-shot, and this player seems to know exactly how to handle it.
For sure. We saw the missiles go out already, and that timer is out now, but the Wiper does unfortunately go into a 2v1 and gets taken down. Now it looks like Popguns and Roses has a pretty strong advantage here. Using that bubble, like we were talking about, on the offense instead of on the defense here, providing them a safe space, and it looks like Popguns and Roses this time is going to be the one who gets that first pick, or the first push.
Yeah, they're not going to let Pepsi Woman kind of do the same thing. They're not going to get away with it. And it looks like the points in the score from both teams were the exact same across both the rounds. So not a great push, but they were able to take an early lead.
Very similar situation, but it looks like Popguns and Roses is already back out in mid. They've got that tactical lure up, making them, like, enabling them to play a little bit more aggressive to hopefully get another push going in the near future. However, this Wiper is going to be going up and getting picked off, overextending possibly just a little bit there, and giving Popguns and Roses more space to play with as they go further and further. It looks like this Neo Splash is going to be kind of going around, and he's almost trying to jump out, trying to go around on the sneaky little flanking cut, but getting picked off instead.
That was just unfortunate, you know, that toxic miss put him in a really bad spot and was kind of forced to jump out, but the laser was able to catch him.
Ooh. Nautilus gets a beautiful pick on the bow. Getting that anchor taken out is going to be huge for their push, and they've got two power clams on the board. Once this crab gets taken out, which does happen. They are now 3 down. This looks like it could be a much stronger push this time. Here's that first power clam, and with very little contest, it looks like that second one's going to go in without a hitch. We're down to 40 points with 2 minutes left in the game, or 2 minutes taken away in the game. That's a pretty good score so far. Vic on the end slot, and that ends up is going to be backing out, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the push, but what a good one it was.
Yeah, that's a potentially, like, game-winning push right there, you know? This map's pretty hard to get in, and with a lead as big as 41 points, Popguns and Roses looking really good if they can just stall out for about 2.5 more minutes, or make another push here and try to get some more in.
Blaster gets a double and then immediately gets picked off by a bomb, and this TJ here is doing all they can to defend, but this Nautilus is already out here getting a power plant in, and the rest of the team is following. They are going to be kind of cut off from behind, and it's only the Blaster left alive. They're just trying to get a pick before getting taken off themselves, but that's, even though they did all get taken out, even though they're giving Pepsi Woman all of mid to play with, getting down to 14 is absolutely huge, and just making it all the more difficult for Pepsi Woman to be able to rebound in the future.
If I said 41 is going to be potentially game-winning, I think 14 is even more.
%, yeah. These guys, they saw what Pepsi Woman was capable of the first time around, and they saw it, and they were like, okay, well, let's not even give them the chance to make that aggressive push. They are... What's going on with the scoreboard?
Oh, the DC again.
And it looks like we have another DC going out. However, they are out of replay, but also it's way too late in the game for that. We're going to see if the remaining 3 members of Popguns and Roses are going to be able to defend their massive lead for another minute, or if Pepsi Woman is the advantage they need for them to go ahead and take the lead and take the game.
I mean, DC or not, they were able to stop that push that Pepsi Woman was currently, you know, using to get some points in. And we got literally under a minute here, and I think they can do it. They have a really strong team here. They just gotta keep that mental game up and not let the DC discourage them.
Yeah, they've got to keep the picks up. They got to just hold their specials. And look, I mean, that's 3 down on the enemy team. They're going to be able to push forward, take mid. Hopefully not overextend too hard, because that could be a death sentence for them. Their biggest priority is in the wiping here and maintaining mid control. And they are going to be actually going for another push, it seems. And that is a wipeout, which who knows if that's a wise play. They are going to be kind of rebounding here into mid, and they are going to be just kind of hopefully just trying to dig their heels and get their specials up and make it as hard as possible for Pepsi Woman to push in. That is going to be their second push here. They are down to 65, but as a player falls off the map, they are 2 down. Tri-Stringer over here in the pit, and it looks like they are still scoring in. Kurta over here on that Nautilus is their last hope. Has to get the pick on Sevi over there and get the pick on the Wiper. That looks like they are going to be able to defend their lead and take game 1 despite all the technical issues.
Yeah, gotta give kudos to that Nautilus. Able to hold the fort and not choke when they needed them the most. Able to clutch up the game, take the W.
Yeah, not too difficult there. It was a bow and then a jump in, but if you fail in those crucial moments, no matter how simple they may seem, it could be really bad. And so being able to maintain composure or whatever is going to be what maintains Popguns and Roses, even though it looked pretty scary for them when they wiped. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure why they decided to go for that last minute push. Maybe just to keep the pressure on Pepsi Woman, but
I think so.
For sure, being able to keep it out, even 3v4 situation, definitely proves that they are a very strong team. And as we move forward in this set, I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up taking it.
I can think right now, going on in their heads, just like, all right, we just won with the DC. I think we have these guys, they're going to be super hyped up, but they just got to make sure to kind of stay a little humble when coming to this next match and not make some risky plays that can cost them the game. They got to keep playing it smart, play it tactical, because zones on Sturgeon is a little awkward just because of the zone structure, So they just got to play it smart, start walling them out, and try to take up as much space as possible, especially on that left side there where that ramp is.
I think the knot is going to be something that they're going to want to bring out yet again on here. It's just such a strong weapon for walling things out, and that's basically the name of the game in zones. You've also got the range, which is going to allow you to help push in. It's a good pick here, I feel, and we did see how well they did in the last round.
Yeah, I think the Knot will be able to show some dominance again, just because of the map choice, and Nautilus is one of the best main weapons in the game, in my opinion. Just like it is the
For
closest
sure.
weapon to hit scan that I think we'll ever see in Splatoon.
Yeah, if we see anything more with more velocity, then I fear. I have a heavy amount of fear. But we are going to be going right into it. Graphic says match point, and so we are going to be seeing the return of the bow and the return of the not like we predicted, but Rose is going to be switching from that vanilla blaster. Never mind, we are not going to be seeing the return of the vanilla blaster because that is a disconnect, and I'm not sure if they're going to be allowed to replay this because they've already had a DC this set.
They're gonna end it.
But it looks like they are opting to end it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's an automatic L for them or if it's just a replay. I'm not sure. It might be a gentleman's.
Yeah, I'm not sure what rules state, but I wonder if Pepsi Woman's gonna be like, all right, we'll replay it just because it was an instant DC. So maybe.
Yeah, not quite sure. Not quite sure. We'll just wait for the ruling there. Anything else notable to talk about? What do you think they're cooking with that range blaster?
I think Ranger's a good pick. Maybe I'm a little biased. I used to be a range main, you know. It's a really good pick here. But it has to be played really careful, just because anything gets up on that kind of like bridge area that folds up, it's kind of over for that range blaster and get overpowered super easily. So unless they can cook on that blaster, it's going to be a bit rough one, if you ask me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
No. It's like it's very similar to Dynamo in a lot of ways, and more than just like the main function of the weapon. It just has a very loyal following. There are so many people who are willing to die for range blaster and are just waiting desperately for the day it gets good, and then are like fear for the day that the weapons like Dynamo and range blaster get good, because when they do, there's a horde of mains that will just be ready with their finely tuned skills to be unleashed upon the land.
Yeah, range is a monster in the right hands, but it has to be in those right hands. Same thing with Dynamo.
Yeah, for sure. And I think range is definitely in a better position than Dynamo. At least it's it's consistent. It's consistently not great, but it is consistent, and its kit does work a little bit better than Sprinkler Tacticooler.
We have had the ruling that they are not allowed any more DC replays. So it looks like game 2 should be going to Pepsi
so that
Woman.
is going to be
I mean, they still have a shot
super
here.
Unfortunate. They're saying, yeah, they're saying here in stream chat that they're unfortunately did not have any DCs before this stream, which is. Yeah, that's going to be the stream curse for you.
Yeah.
There you see it, the point going to Pepsi Woman. That's, yeah, unfortunate. They do have another chance, but it's also on TC Flounder.
I mean, range blaster here is a lot better, if you ask me. I mean, it's tower control, but range blaster on Flounder, it's one of my favorites, just because of the geometry of the stage. You're able to poke like a bucket does, while having that, like, insane range. So, I think if we're going to see range blaster again, it's going to be here.
Speaking of buckets, I would not be surprised if any of these players switch to buckets, just because of they're insane. You cannot rival a bucket on this map. If you're not running a bucket map or bucket here, it's borderline throwing. Not entirely, but you know what I mean. It's insanely strong, and so we'll see if any of the players of either of these teams have a bucket pocket in their pocket.
Yeah, I think bucket here. We're guaranteed to see one. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a bucket, just because, like you said, it basically is throwing. But, like, why not? Why give up an advantage that you could easily have by, like, one easy weapon pick? Like, try. It's not the hardest weapon, but it absolutely crushes your opponents on this map, specifically. It's just the most evil pick.
Sure. For sure. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't say going meta or going with what works isn't as evil, but it works, you know.
Yeah.
And it ain't broken, don't fix it. Especially because a lot of it's I know I'm a backline, so I don't have the experience, but from my friends who are frontliners, they say it's not too hard to flex onto it. So yeah, why would you give up that free advantage? Why wouldn't you practice? Is keep a bucket, know the fundamentals of the weapon, just so you can, in these situations where you really want to take that win because you don't want to be unjustly taken out of a potential 2-0. Why would you you know, do that. I don't know. It
Yeah.
looks like they looks like Popguns and Roses does have Sylphie in place of Rose, who is going to be playing Charger, which is a really interesting pick, and hopefully can help them snowball a bit more. May not be as pokey as that range blaster, but hopefully it will work. And Sebi over there staying on the on that bow, which is basically just an explode with a few extra tricks up its sleeve. So hopefully we'll see that do pretty well here too.
This is a very interesting team comp from both teams. I like the Nautilus pick, but I think the Viper Deco here may give them more trouble than they think.
For sure. 2 down on both sides already. Specials also coming out from both sides. Vic popping out that cooler while the bow is going to be popping out that whale, adding a bit of pressure. They are, Popguns and Roses is going to be able to make it their way all the way to that first checkpoint, but all the way is a bit of a misnomer because it is right there. However, Sylphie is still here holding mid, and it looks like their defenses are not going to falter anytime soon, so hopefully they can get another push under their feet and continue on breaking through that checkpoint.
Yeah, seeing what this Charger's doing is pretty amazing to watch. I mean, Sylphie's able just to hold space, and they got the wipe as well. Should be able to take this checkpoint here. And we do see the strikes are up, and the cooler, so they have some good specials here to push in and continue their assault.
Yeah, and so, like, the Flounder, the reason why you don't ever see Flounder TC in mapless is because it is a snowball rolling down a hill. The tower is the snowball rolling down the hill. And even though they are 3 down here, it looks like they might not get that full snowball that they want. And beautiful squid surge from the Wiper there. And into a beautiful suction bomb death from the hands of that Neo Splash. It's just... It's so hard to defend. You're defending, fighting an uphill battle, which is a term, like a phrase for a reason. It's not ideal, and so we're going to continue on and see how Popguns and Roses, with their next push coming out really, really fast, manages to take that snowball even further.
I would just like to comment on this Charger one more time. You know, even when the rest of their team kind of went down, they didn't fall back per se. They were able to continue to hold mid and keep Pepsi Women kind of at bay, which is perfect. I mean, really, really good skill from the Charger. I just want to compliment that.
Oh yeah, being able to maintain control even if you're the last one left is the mark of a good backline, and they certainly are able to do that. But it looks like Pepsi Woman here is going to be kind of coming into mid, guns blazing, and really wanting to get a nice, good push on their own off. And they are at this first checkpoint, or nearing it at least. And so we'll see how this goes as they continue on.
Yeah, we do see 2 downside of Pepsi Women, but even still, they're going to keep the assault up. But seeing the splash go down, looks like their push is going to be over. Maybe.
Yeah, picks for picks out here. The Charger, like you said, holding their ground with that wall and maintaining control. Now all that Popguns and Roses really does have to get this crab out of their bunker, because that could be terrible. And it looks like the beacons though are. Well, the beacon just getting in and taking out that crab is going to be pivotal for their continued pushing. But they are 3 down right now, and the snowball is snowballing down the other hill now.
I think getting 3 down there was just completely huge, because they're starting to get their specials online, starting to team them together, which may spell the lead overtake on the side of Pepsi Women.
For sure. We are going to see, the Wiper coming up from behind, being taken out. But they clutch Nautilus, as always. Now, this is a really good sign for them. It started to look really scary, but being able to hold it off like that bodes well for the rest of this match. Now, they have some specials to start getting under their feet. Caterpillar is going to allow them to go in a little more aggressively, take a few more risks, as they are going to be starting to look for the second snowball. Pick on the bow goes out, and with the missile, though, pushing them a little bit back, they are going to continue holding and holding. It is just a big fight for whoever can get this next push going out right now.
Now, just being able to spectate this game is pretty awesome. Both of these teams are super evenly played on this map, and we're not really seeing a definitive snowball on either, which is super rare to see.
But with that partial, or that delayed wipeout, we might be seeing it right now, as, Pepsi Woman is rebounding pretty fast. The Wiper is going behind. They are getting the picks that they need, but, however, mid is still firmly in the side of Popguns and Roses, who just need to clear out the bunker area to be able to start getting their push back again. However, it is 30 seconds left, and, a good option could potentially be just maintaining mid control, but not overextending, because any major advantage here could mean death. And it's 2-2 with Pepsi Woman having quite a few specials on their team. They have the Tri-Strike, Blue Popguns and Roses, and they are going to be opted to hop on this tower, pop out those Tri-Strikes because there are 10 left, and if they are riding the tower, and we are going to be able to see overtime here. 3 seconds left until overtime acts, and they are on the tower still, but that's going to be a full wipeout, and the game is going to go to Popguns and Roses.
Even with the DC and the unfortunate Game 2 loss just due to the DC clause, Popguns and Roses were able to clutch up and take Game 3 for themselves.
Yeah, it would have been heartbreaking if they ended up losing just to the DC clause. I'm glad they were able to find a sub that didn't suddenly have internet issues, but definitely well played from them. Pepsi Woman definitely put up a great fight too in all the games that we saw, and so but Popguns and Roses is going to be taking one final victory in the Swiss stage. That was the last Swiss stage. We had 6 rounds of Swiss, and we are going to be moving into top 8, and top 8 is going to be determined pretty soon. Here, let me refresh the challenge and we can see what it's looking like so far.
Let's do these standings.
It looks like standings. It looks like all the matches should be done. And so we have Rat, Pepega Fan Club, One Hit Wonders, Draft Journey, Quack, Tuojisha, She's in a Single Day, and Baby Girls is what it looks like so far.
Those are your top 8, and the top 4 have taken either 5-1s, and we see Rat here has taken a 6-0. So they have not dropped a set. Beautiful. So they are to be, kept an eye on.
For sure. And now, as we go in, we are going to be taking a short 10-minute-ish break as we go into group stage, I believe, if that's correct.
I'm pretty sure you're correct there.
Yeah, I need time to get some water, rest my brain before we go into this top 8, I think. Right?
Yep. We are only,
all right, cool.
We're only getting
Fantastic.
started.
See you then.
Bye.